welcome to our World Cup special for One Game at a Time. I'm Seb O'Neill, and of course it is the four of us as always. And I do have a question, as if it was an all episode. David, your favourite World Cup memory? A real question for this episode.
Oh, wish you'd give us a little bit of advance notice about this sort of stuff.
That's the fun of the question.
Well, I'm old enough to remember Archie Gemmel's goal in 1978 in Argentina. Argentina 78 was the first World Cup I sort of have a vague memory of. I mean, but it's so cliched just to go for that. So, good Lord. Maradona against England, but not the goal of the tournament, the one where he went up and headed it and Shilton didn't get off the ground. That's probably one of my favourite memories. Little Diego is a proud Scot. So there's that one. There's Archie Gemmel's goal in 78. And I don't know, maybe Germany winning it in 2014. I've got a soft spot for the Germans as well. I don't know. I wasn't prepared for that. How's those three, though?
Alessio? Alessio, for you?
Did you say earliest or best?
Your favourite.
Yeah, probably the earliest one for me was Brett Holman goal against Serbia in 2010. I don't know why it sticks out. It's probably the first World Cup I remember. I just remember getting up and it was super cold at like 2 a.m. Getting on the old TV with the big back and just trying to find, it was ABC or something, and just about got the game on. And that goal, and then probably Tim Cahill's goal against Netherlands as well.
And Mark, finally for you.
One I wasn't alive for was a Gordon Banks save many years ago against Brazil. But the memory that I probably remember the most is 2006. I was living in England at the time, and the World Cup was in Germany, so it was amazing to be amongst the English. Even though I didn't get to go to Germany, I was still in England with like lunchtime kickoffs and things like that. And it was just fantastic. Like, you'd spend your day just talking about the World Cup, and it was everywhere. It was just brilliant. So,
well, of course, we're here to look forward to the North American, Central American World Cup in a few weeks now. But I guess, first of all, what are we looking forward to? What are we worried about? I guess, Alessio, I'll start with you. You'll be attending the World Cup. What are you looking forward to sort of in that aspect, actually, being there?
Yeah, I'm just excited to see what it's like to be in a country or at that stage where the sport that's on everyone's mouth, everyone's eyes is soccer. I mean, I don't think I've ever been in a place where everybody is tuned into one sport, tuned into whatever game that's going to happen that day, and everyone is just there for one thing. You never see that in Australia, and you never see it, a lot of other places. So, I'm excited to see that. Of course, I'm excited to see my country on a national stage. I think I've seen a Socceroos couple of friendlies in Adelaide, in Melbourne as well, but I haven't seen them at a national tournament before. I'm just excited to see what all the buzz is about at a major tournament.
David, for you, I imagine one thing you're looking forward to is pretty obvious.
What, England getting knocked out in the first round? Or oh, you didn't mean that. Well, I mean, obviously Scotland haven't been there for 30 years. It's the first time I've put this shirt on in 30 years, I think. I bought it in not in France, 1998, but I was living in the UK at the time, and I was on holiday in Greece when Scotland played Brazil in the opener of 1998. So there was a bit of a buzz at the time, obviously, and I think that buzz has returned. I'm not caught up in the magic of it all, though. I mean, I went to one of the big department stores at the weekend to do my shopping, and I think there was 2 Socceroos scarves. One was green, one was gold, and then there was a bunnet, like a bobble hat. So. Yeah. The World Cup fever hasn't quite gripped us here in South Australia yet in the same way that it is in other places. So I do miss that. I miss it being just everywhere in the media and so on. But what am I most looking forward to? Not sure. Obviously, seeing Scotland play for the first time, I'm looking forward to that with a mixture of optimism and dread. I think we might do okay against Haiti, but I'm not so sure we'll do all right against Morocco and Brazil. We'll get into that a bit later. So, yeah, I mean, like Alessio said there, everybody comes together. It's a global event. It's the biggest sporting event in the world. And, there is a sort of sense of harmony and world peace when the World Cup's on. And in the midst of the troubles, I'll say, that we have just now globally, it's just nice to know that there's a tournament coming up that will hopefully bring people together a little bit more. So maybe I'm looking forward to a little bit of that. That's my hippie self coming out, I suppose.
Mark, finally for you.
Just more football. Simple as that. There's plenty of games. And you're right, everyone comes together, everyone wants to get involved. So just the fact that it will actually might make the back page of the paper. Not that anyone reads the paper, but you know what I mean? There might actually be some media coverage apart from the ones that we know of. Like the actual advertiser might cover something, which I think would be fascinating and wonderful. But yeah, I mean, unless you're in the football world, we don't see it. Normally, we don't see any football media. So to be honest, it's going to be great that it's actually making the news. It's actually making the paper, and it's not just the regular outlets that are broadcasting football. So in that case, I hope Australia does brilliantly, because the better they do, obviously, the more coverage it brings. So, but that's what I'm looking forward to. And yeah, just like I said, just football in general, more football.
No, and not only that, for me, I guess sort of going on to that is it's in a half-decent time zone as well across the three countries. Our first game as Australia is at 1:30, and then before that, the game is Haiti versus Scotland at 10:30 in the morning as a double header, if you want to call it that. So for that first Sunday of the World Cup, that one day, I can't wait for that one. Will be a big one. We'll sort of talk about teams and squads of interest. I guess, Mark, we'll start with you in England. The squad was announced late last week with a brilliant announcement video, but the squad itself brought questions by the general public.
So I don't know if it brought questions, more abuse, to be honest, because that's probably been the biggest thing, and most of it is around the fact that Harry Maguire didn't make the squad, Jordan Henderson made the squad, Jed Spence made the squad, and Noni Madueke made the squad. Now, for me, this is only my opinion, but Jed Spence, in a relegation battle, and he couldn't even play every game for his Spurs side, so yet you put him in the side, and you've got a player like Trent Alexander. And I'm not a huge fan of Alexander-Arnold, but how can you not pick him? His creativity from that position. Jordan Henderson, he's going purely just as an old head to keep things calm. Like, if he plays, and seriously, we've got questions to be asked. And as much as I like Noni Madueke, he's an Arsenal boy now, but he scored 3 goals and got 2 assists all season. Played behind Bakay. When you've got players that, like, you look at some of the leading goal scorers in the English Premier League at the moment were at Leeds in Calvert-Lewin. Scored, I think, 13 goals or something. Why would you not take him? But you're taking Ivan Toney as well from the Saudi Pro League. I mean,
I think I saw a thing today, I think it was from BBC Sport, that I think Morgan Gibbs-White was the highest scoring English scorer in the English league, and he wasn't taken to the World Cup as a part of the England squad.
And that's the thing, you got players like that. I mean, they're very fortunate in the fact that they've got some great midfielders. Yes, Declan Rice, Anderson, Kobe Mainoo, Bellingham and Rodgers and Eze, who have all had great seasons. But to not take a Gibbs-White fascinates me. To be honest, I agree with leaving Maguire at home. I'm so glad he's not going to be there. But they've got other players that I think, like a Luke Shaw would have been great in that left back role because he's a left footer. Young Hall at Newcastle had a good year. So there's some questions over some of the positions, but to be honest, I don't think they're going to get much game time anyway. So it'll be very interesting to see how they go. But there were lots of abuse, I'm going to say, towards Tuchel. And the only other one I do want to raise, this being a former goalkeeper, is the 3 keepers have got Pickford, Henderson and Trafford. Now, Pickford and Henderson have both been outstanding this year. Henderson now club captain at Palace. But you've got 2 goalkeepers at Newcastle who, in Nick Pope and Aaron Ramsdale, who Ramsdale took Pope's spot at one stage throughout the year, played probably 8 games straight, I think it was. And then you picked James Trafford, who didn't get a sniff as soon as Donnarumma came in. So you're sort of going, well, like, okay, maybe he's the next goalkeeper in line, but it is what it is. So I just, without game match fitness or anything like that, why would you take someone? But so, yeah, look, lots of questions. But I think going forward, they've got great opportunities. They've got some good players, and I got my starting 11 picked out of that squad. But it'll be a very interesting tournament for England, and they've got players that can make differences off the bench. Some of them not so much.
Question.
Yes, David.
The name that you didn't mention there, Mark, that kind of surprised me that wasn't included, and I've seen him in the flesh this very year playing for Manchester City, was Phil Foden. So I saw him in the flesh back in November. I was on a trip over there, and I was fortunate enough to get a ticket to go and see Manchester City playing Borussia Dortmund in a Champions League match. And Phil Foden was absolutely immense. I wish he had a Scottish granny and we could grab him. And I know that his name has been mentioned in some of the social media circles. I just wondered what your thoughts were on Foden's omission, because that for me was just a massive one, the biggest of the lot.
There was two. Him and Cole Palmer were the two that a lot of people were talking about, and Cole Palmer, I can understand. To be honest, neither of them had really that great of end of season. Once Christmas came around, they kind of sort of fell off the boil a little bit. Palmer was injured all year. Possibly, but Foden started really well, but I think he tailed off towards the end. But like I said, I think Gibbs White overtook him, and then you've got Rodgers, who was a massive emerging talent this year at Villa. So I think he was probably the third choice behind a Rodgers and a Gibbs White type thing. So great player, but I just think he may have gone off the boil just towards the end of the season when it mattered most for me. Because I mean, you look at it, he didn't even start for Man City a lot of the second half of the season.
So you wouldn't have been in Mark Talbot's England squad if Mark Talbot was England manager?
No, if I was Henderson would have been dropped, and it would have been, and I would have brought in Morgan Gibbs White. Yeah, guaranteed. Again, Jed Spence wouldn't have made the squad. Someone like a Luke Shaw who's to be honest had a solid year for United at left back. He got past most of his injuries, and as a backup, like for me, Nick O'Reilly, you start him at left back at the moment, the way he played, even though he was playing more midfield at Man City, but you'd start him all day long at the moment in the form he's in. So yeah, that were the sort of two, maybe three that I would have really looked at and gone, really? But that's why I'm not the England coach. I don't get paid the big bucks. I don't have the qualifications, but I still hold out hope.
David, to you on your Scotland. Your squad came out sometime last week as well. Your thoughts overall? Who's missing?
Well, where do you start? I think Scotland has probably got a very, very strong midfield naturally. When you consider the likes of, I'm just bringing up some of the names just now in the midfield. We've got Scott McTominay, John McGinn, even Ryan Christie at Bournemouth, Billy Gilmore, Lewis Ferguson. Maybe not Kenny McLean, but Ben Gannon-Doak as well. There's a connection with Ben Gannon-Doak as well. His grandfather, Martin Doak, played for West Adelaide in the very late 80s and early 90s. Scotland's midfield, for me, just naturally is strong, and it doesn't worry me. What does worry me is up front. We've opted not to include the Championship's top scorer, Ollie McBurney, who I've got a note here on how many goals he's scored in the Championship. He's the second top scorer in the Championship. And another Scot in there, Tommy Conway of Middlesbrough, it was the 8th top scorer in the Championship. He is injured, so he's not available for selection. But I believe, or my interpretation is that there's some kind of personal issue or personal clash between Ollie McBurney and Steve Clarke. There seems to be a little bit of animosity between the two, and Clarke has said that he has his players that he likes and is unlikely to deviate from them. So I guess he has this sort of sense of loyalty to players that he's used in the past. But I don't think the players he's used in the past have been particularly impressive for Scotland in qualification. Shea Adams, Ryan Christie and Scott McTominay were the top scorers in the qualifiers, but they only got 2 goals each. And Ryan Christie and Scott McTominay aren't forwards, they're midfielders. Shea Adams is the only striker in there. I've always been a bit disappointed by the big Australian fella, Lyndon Dykes, who plays up front for Scotland. I think he does a lot of good work off the ball, but he does, at the end of the day, you want your strikers to be scoring goals, and he just doesn't seem to be doing it for the national team. None of the 3 to go right to the other end of the field, none of the 3 goalkeepers are playing regular first team football as well, which is a bit of a concern. So our goalkeepers are Angus Gunn, son of Brian Gunn, who has played for Scotland, or did play for Scotland, Craig Gordon and Liam Kelly. Liam Kelly is a bit of an unknown. He's only got 2 caps. He's going to be a third choice anyway, so I think first choice is going to be Angus Gunn or Craig Gordon, but neither of them are playing first team football, and none of the 3 are playing regular first team football. So the goalkeepers worry me, the strikers worry me, the midfield I'm okay with. Defensively, I think we're okay. We've got Andy Robertson, Kieran Tierney, even Nathan Patterson, I think plays in Saudi Arabia just now. He was at Everton for a while. Is a quality enough player. Aaron Hickey's another one who's a good player. Then you've got that other big Australian, John Suter, of Rangers. So I think at the back, I've got a bit of confidence at the back. I've got little confidence in goal in terms of them just not playing regular first team football just now. The defence I think is okay. The midfield's very strong, but nothing up front, and I think that's probably what worries me. And I think Scotland's 2 informed strikers over the last year, maybe even year and a half, have been Ollie McBurney and Lawrence Shankland. And Lawrence Shankland's not even been a regular really in Stephen Clarke's team. He's come off the bench. Our 2 informed strikers aren't even probably going to be featuring. Well, one's not even in the squad. The other one's probably going to be in the bench coming on. So that's I guess my summary of what I think of Scotland. I think we'll do okay. As I said, I think we'll do okay against Haiti, but I think Morocco and Brazil might give us a bit of a touch-up.
Alessio, finally, to our Australia, a team who hasn't released their squad yet. All we know is that they're currently in a pre-tournament camp in California. There's about 30, just under 30 players involved in that. Again, we don't know their team. There are still players coming in at the time of recording. Matt Ryan still hasn't joined the squad, only just finished his season. Riley McGree, there's serious doubts over after getting injured late on in that playoff final. So really the conversation is from that group, I guess. Who are you taking, Alessio?
Yeah, it's interesting to see how many of the players he's called up, obviously looking to get everybody who's available to try and impress him before he gets there. But I think a thing I noticed, and I was talking to my girlfriend about, is the squad numbers that the players who've been called up have. Maybe those above 25 are the ones that are less likely to make the squad. If you have a look at some of the numbers they're wearing, and those players who've got really quite high numbers, I think there was even maybe a 35 or something like that on a player.
He's got no chance then, has he?
Specifically looking at those players, they're the ones that have been called up, which haven't really had many caps or trying to maybe get an off-chance place as well. I think the main ones have got the numbers that it looks like they've worn for most of their Socceroos career, and they'll have likelihood of making the squad. That's your Toure with number 9, Irakunda's 11, Lecky with 7, even Gauchi with his 18. Like, these are typical numbers they wear usually for the national team, and I think they have the strongest chance of making it. I think there's probably a bit more of a shout around some of the attackers, and I think he probably will take a couple that we might not expect. We have some good attackers, but I don't think we have 5 or 6 good attackers or typical attackers that we'll take with us. There's a few, especially even Lecky now turned into a midfielder. Does he contest those positions now instead of a wide position? In this new formation, there's probably not out-and-out wingers. So how many of them do we take? How many of them can play fullback as well? And I don't know how long into when these A-League players have coming back from playing the final series really starts bringing in some of them, because as you can tell, there's no Adelaide United players there yet. There's no, obviously no Sydney FC players yet, and even some others from other clubs that maybe you'd expect to have even made the training squad that maybe haven't yet. So I think that's the case, but otherwise I'm fairly happy with the players he's chosen. I think he's pretty much leaving himself with every available player that has a chance to make it, he's having a look at. So I'm happy with that. What do you think, Seb?
It's an interesting one. Like you said, it's a big mix of players, and I suppose when the first announcement of the players that had been called up into the sort of the very early stage of the camp was a lot of sort of intrigue as to why, they had the likes of Brandon Borello was called up, Nick D'Agostino was called up, and he's already left the camp with injury. He won't be taking part. It was an interesting group of players. And then another one I wanted to touch on, and I want to sort of ask you about as well, is Harry Suter only really just coming back from injury. has hardly played football in the past year and a half, but we know how important he was to us in the 22 World Cup. You have the likes of Cameron Burgess, who's played, I think at the status he played every single minute for Swansea in the Championship. It's sort of one or the other between those two. I suppose in the first instance, would you be taking Harry Souttar just purely on, I guess, quality?
I would. I mean, I think the way his leadership and experience at the back there compared to maybe some of the others, I would take him as part of the squad because I believe past Cameron Burgess and Lucas Harrington, we don't have many standout. That's Shakardi, sorry. There's not many other standout centre backs, and even some of the other ones who can play centre back, your Guerriers, Deganek, etc. I think they're kind of bit part players who've been taken to previous World Cups where they're just a third choice right back or a last minute choice centre back. Where I'd rather take Souttar than take one of them.
Mark, I saw you very much disagree. You do not think we should be taking Harry Souttar to the World Cup. Explain.
Well, the fact is, there's no match fitness there. You've got players that have been playing constantly, week in, week out, and this is the whole issue. Like, you take a player just because they've performed at World Cups in the past. To be honest, you've got to pick players on their best form at the moment. If he's not been playing, and he hasn't played much at all, as you said, in the last year and a half, how do you know he's not going to break down after the first game? And the fact that, like I said, the other thing as well, I'm looking at the provisional squad at the moment. There's 11 defenders in there, and I'm not sure that's enough. I think he needs to take more because we know he plays a 12-man defence. So I think he needs more defenders in that team. No, but in all seriousness, I think when you look at it, Deganek no longer a fullback. I don't think he's able to get up and down. When you've got the likes of Geordie Boss, who's been brilliant for Feyenoord. When you've got players like that now that can play those wing-back positions because he doesn't play fullbacks, I think you're going to have your Milos Deganeks, your Sakardis, your Harringtons all playing as your three centre-backs because we all know he's going to play three at the back, or five at the back. He'll play three centre-backs, two wide fullbacks, and then he'll play one man up top. So the likes of Jason Gary, they'll do a job, but I mean, it bugs me that players like that are making the side when we've got some opportunities. But midfield, I like though. The midfield is looking good. Like you've got some good players in there. You've got some creative players in there. I really hope Riley comes through and is okay because I think he certainly adds a creative spark for us.
I think, to be honest, he would be one of our most important players if he is to come in. I think, if not beside maybe Geordie Boss.
I think Geordie. I'm expecting a lot from Geordie Boss, and if Friday McGree does get fit, then he's going to be big. There's players in there. I don't think I wonder why they've picked them, but I also know why they've picked them. One, because of who they play for, and two, who their parents are. And again, Matthew Leckie, Matthew Leckie's not a forward. He hasn't played up front for Melbourne City for God knows how long. So he's straight away he goes back into the midfield. So there's some creative spark, which is great. And he's going to go set up as a five-man defence and just try and hold everyone out and effectively play on the counter.
All right.
So,
anything to add, David? You happy to move on?
I think they've covered it very well, both of them. Well done.
Of course, we won't find out the squad until the 1st of June. I'm not sure on this, but I imagine we're probably one of the latest squad announcements of the whole World Cup.
I think it has to be done by the 1st of June, like the end of that day.
So I think we've got the Mexico friendly on Sunday, and then the day after we'll find out the final squad. So I imagine that Mexico friendly you'll be able to tell a lot out of that who plays in that and who was involved in the actual match.
It'd be funny if he just played everyone and then none of them made the squad. Just to throw everyone off.
Yeah.
Well, they're all wearing number 35.
88s and 20, all these random high numbers.
we will go on to looking at the groups and our predictions of said groups. We'll go through each one, starting off with Group A, the host side, Mexico, ranked 15th. They've got the opening match on Friday the 12th in Mexico against South Africa, sort of the reverse fixture of that first match of the 2010 World Cup. And then South Africa themselves in their first tournament since 2010, ranked 60th. Korea, South Korea, their 11th straight World Cup at rank 25. And Czechia, another who's had a long absence, last time since 2006, 41st in the world. David, a quick word on the group. Big for host Mexico, of course.
Yeah, although that can count against you, I guess it maybe adds a little bit of pressure because, for obvious reasons, the crowd can turn on you and the expectation might not match what they get in the field. So it doesn't always help, I don't think, being the host side. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Are you now seeking my predictions for where they'll end up in the group?
I was just getting a rough word first before we
Rougher
did our
word.
predictions on the group.
Mexico, I'm not sure I fancy them to top that group. I think they'll find there's a little bit extra pressure on them. Not expecting a great deal from South Africa either. So I think those two. I think Mexico might even struggle. Expectations.
Well, we'll go on to the predictions of Group A. We'll go all fourth, all third, all second, all first. Starting off with our fourth place. I have South Africa in fourth place of Group A.
Yep, me
I
too.
do as well.
Yep.
All in agreement there. Third place of Group A, I have Czechia.
I do
So
as
do
well.
No, so have I. Czechia.
So second place in the group, I have South Korea.
I do as well.
I've got Mexico.
I've got Mexico.
So first place, I have Mexico topping their group.
I do
South
as
Korea.
well.
South Korea.
Korea, yep. Yep. I'm the
Very
same as
interesting.
Hmm.
Very interesting. On to Group B, Canada, one of the other host nations. They've never been past the knockout stage. This is their third World Cup appearance. Bosnia and Herzegovina, their second since qualifying in 2014, ranked 65th in the world. Qatar returning their second World Cup after they crashed out in their home World Cup in 22, but are two-time consecutive reigning Asian Cup champions as we speak. In Switzerland, finally, another return, their sixth consecutive World Cup at rank number 19. Mark, another host nation in Canada.
Yes, there's a lot of them.
Going to be even more soon.
Yeah.
There's a lot, yeah, exactly. I'm not looking forward to it, to be honest. But yeah, look, you kind of always got to go with David said it can be a bit of pressure being the home side, but I've found like it seems to bode well for the home nation. They tend to get obviously that local backing and tend to do okay. I mean, Qatar did well when they were the home nation. You know what I mean? Like that, not like even South Africa, they got off to a good start when they were playing and things like that. So you tend to do okay when you tend to do okay as a host nation. So. But it's not an easy group either. When you look at it, you go, oh, actually, it's only Bosnia and Qatar and Switzerland, but it's still a tough group. It's pretty level pegging throughout the group. So it'll be a very tight one, I think.
Let's predict it then. Group B. Fourth place in Group B for me, Qatar.
Same.
Qatar.
Third place in Group B, Bosnia for me.
Same.
Canada for me.
Canada for me.
Second place in Group B, I have Switzerland.
Bosnia.
I have Canada.
Bosnia.
And in first place of Group B, I have Canada.
Switzerland.
Switzerland, they were magnificent in qualifying.
There we go. Very interesting. Group C, I'll go back to you on this, David. Of course, the group which you'll have the most interest in.
Well,
I suppose looking away from...
I'll have the most interest in for the first 2 games.
3 games.
Looking at the group as a whole, other than Scotland, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, Brazil, self-explanatory, really, isn't it? And Scotland have met Brazil on a number of occasions at the '74 World Cup. that was a draw from memory. Played them in 1982 as well. Played them in 1990 from memory as well. So played them at least 3 times. There might have been more, but 3 times that I can remember in the group stage. Brazil have beaten us, if you like. I'll say us twice, and I think in '74 it was a draw. But Brazil are Brazil. Having said that, they did lose 5-1 to Germany 2 World Cups ago. So it's not to say that an upset isn't on the cards from any of those other teams. But I think Brazil will probably top the group. Haiti, I think, are probably just going to be making up the numbers. I feel for them. There's a ghastly civil unrest in that country. They've been unable to play any of their games at home. And again, I go back to the point earlier on where you kind of hope that a tournament like the World Cup maybe just brings people together a little bit, and maybe it can have an effect on the people there and their expatriate community, and maybe just give them a sense of unity and peace and all of that sort of stuff. So, but I do think they're probably just going to be making up the numbers. Morocco, though, Morocco obviously got to the semi-final of the last World Cup. They ended up African champions, right? Senegal won it, but it was awarded to Morocco at the end. Was that correct? Yeah, so they're the African champions.
Like that.
Yeah, I mean, even just getting to the final of that tournament says a lot in itself. And I think Morocco is one of these teams. Scotland had them in the '98 World Cup when they were last there. They had Norway and Morocco and Brazil in the group. And Morocco were one of those sides that came in and nobody really expected much of then. It's the same with last tournament when they got to the semi-final, and I think Morocco will do very well. I think they'll be second in that group. So, I mean, I've kind of given my predictions as well as things. So we can still do the 3-2-4-1 or whatever it is you do. But look, I think I've covered the group without. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Group C, our 4th place. I have Haiti.
Yeah.
Same.
Haiti. Yeah.
Third place in Group C, Scotland.
Same.
Scotland.
Second place in Group C, I have Brazil.
I have Morocco.
I have Brazil.
I have Morocco.
First place in Group C, I have Morocco.
Brazil.
I've got Brazil.
Morocco.
Very nice, very nice. Group D, Alessio. The group of interest in our country. It's probably the most even group in the whole World Cup as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. I mean, if you probably took all of the groups and seen where their FIFA rankings are, I think this has got to be the closest. All 4 have been in one, because looking at all the groups, there's one that is like miles away from the rest. But yeah, what a great group. Obviously, there's going to be some really tough games facing Turkey, probably the favourites of the group first, and then USA, and then probably I would say that the least favourite in the group, Paraguay, facing them last. So having to get some results out of some tough fixtures first will be very difficult. But yeah, I know there are going to be some great games, especially against USA. And I know Turkey have got a big football contingent and they're very passionate fans. So it'll be quite good, I reckon.
Looking forward to this group. Our predictions for it, though. Group D, 4th place. I have Paraguay.
Paraguay.
Third place of Group D, I have the USA.
USA.
I have Turkey.
I have Australia.
Of course. Second place of Group D, I have Turkey.
I have Australia.
I have Australia.
I have the United States of America.
And first place in Group D, I have Australia.
I have Turkey.
I have USA.
I have Turkey.
Blind confidence is what I'm going off of. Group E. David, I'll go back to you on this one. Germany and Ivory Coast in this group, probably 2 of the favourites to come out of it. Your thoughts?
Well, you say 2 of the favourites, and without giving my predictions away like I did in the last one, Ecuador did very well in qualifying. They finished, I think, 2nd in the South American qualifiers, behind Argentina and just above Colombia. I'm certain I've got that correct. So I think Ecuador will be the surprise package in this group. Germany will still get through, I think, but Ecuador for me is probably going to be the one to look out for in this group.
Well, we'll go our predictions. 4th place, aside for me, that you didn't even mention, Curacao.
Didn't mention it because I didn't know how to pronounce it. I was calling it Coco, but yeah, Curacao for me to finish 4th.
Curacao as well, yeah.
3rd place in Group E, Ecuador for me.
Ecuador for me.
Ivory Coast. Oh, sorry, Cote d'Ivoire for me.
Cote d'Ivoire for me too. Uh-huh.
Second, second place in Group E, I have the Cote d'Ivoire.
I have the Cote d'Ivoire as well.
Ecuador.
I have Deutschland, Germany.
And first place in Group E, I have Germany.
I have Germany.
Germany.
I have Ecuador to top the group.
Very favourable towards Ecuador, David. Interesting. Group F. Alessio, I'll go to you. Your thoughts. Strong
Yeah,
teams.
it's probably another group where it's got quite a lot of teams that have performed quite well, besides maybe Tunisia. They've obviously been to a couple World Cups now, so they're definitely a tough team to play. Some interesting players from all three of these teams. I know Netherlands is just about getting through some of their older generation of players. They've not called up a couple of their younger ones as well, of course, some to injury, like Javi Simons and a couple else. But I think maybe their attackers haven't been as elite as probably they've been in the past. And yeah, they're very memorable attackers of the 90s and the early 2000s as well. I think they've probably not got as many that have come out from that way, but a lot of great defenders coming through, specifically centre backs for some reason. And I think for Japan, we always know what they can do. They're one of the quickest to qualify most World Cups, and they make the knockout rounds quite often. So I think they do well too.
Predictions for Group F. Fourth place for me is Tunisia.
Same.
Tunisia.
Third place in Group F, Sweden for me.
Same.
Netherlands.
Sweden.
Second place, Japan.
Same.
Sweden.
Netherlands.
First place for me, the Netherlands.
Same.
Japan.
Japan.
I'm intrigued to come back to you later, Mark, if you have the Netherlands as a third place team. Group G, Egypt, who missed out last World Cup, Belgium, who last placed third in the 2018 World Cup, New Zealand, the lowest ranked team in the entirety of the World Cup, haven't been to a World Cup since 2010, and haven't actually lost a World Cup game since 1982, and Iran as well, their fourth consecutive World Cup, but haven't made it past the group stage in their 6 previous appearances. Again, probably another team of some interest to us in New Zealand. Plenty of A-League players involved in that. As I said, the lowest ranked team in the World Cup. I guess for you, Mark, what do you think?
This one for me is a bit of a cut and dry group, I think, when you've got two teams that have not, one team in particular, not done that great in Iran, but when you look at the likes of Egypt, who've probably done not so well on the World Cup stage, but they've done well in the Middle East and all that sort of stuff with their competitions there. New Zealand, obviously, yeah, A-League players, but unfortunately, their talisman is probably the only player they've got. There's only a couple of players that we're playing outside of Australia, New Zealand areas in Chris Wood. And Belgium, obviously, you've got one of the European heavyweights really over the last few years or last few tournaments. So for me, this one's a little bit more cut and dry, I think, this group.
Group G predictions then. Fourth place for me, I have Iran.
I have New Zealand.
New Zealand.
In my best Kiwi accent, I have Egypt.
In third place for me, I have New Zealand.
I have Iran.
Iran.
I've got New Zealand.
Second place, Belgium.
Egypt.
Egypt.
Iran.
First place of Group G for me is Egypt.
Belgium.
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 Very nice. On to Group H. Spain involved, of course, last one in 2010. Cape Verde in their World Cup debut. They've been at AFCON 4 times. Saudi Arabia, another, of course, caused that upset against Argentina in the group stage last World Cup. And Uruguay, historical World Cup players in that side as well. David, to you.
Well, I think this is another group that might be, like Mark said, a bit clear cut, in that there's two sides in there that I think will be too strong for the other two sides. I think it'll be fairly divisive, and we're not doing predictions yet. It makes it difficult to talk about it, doesn't it? But I think the side that won the World Cup in 2010 will probably do quite well in this group, and the side that hosted the first ever World Cup will probably be second best in this group. I think the other two, I think they're probably capable of an upset. I wouldn't say they'll certainly get points off each other, which will one of them will take points off the other one when they play each other. But ultimately, I think this is, like Mark said with the previous group, a bit more clear cut, and I think the two strongest sides will finish first and second.
Group H, fourth place for me, Cape Verde.
Same.
Third place, Saudi Arabia.
Same.
Second place for me, Uruguay.
Same.
First place for all of us is Spain. I think that's the first one which we've all completely agreed upon.
And
Out
it
of
doesn't
the-
get
out
it
of
doesn't
the
get any more
state
clear
groups.
cut than that, does it?
In saying that, I'm not sure who this same team is. This same team keep popping up. I'm like, what's the same team? Anyway, sorry.
Group I, involving France, of course, two-time winners, have been in two consecutive finals, ranked first in the world. Senegal as well, their fourth World Cup appearance. Iraq, another, of course, led by Graham Arnold. Their last tournament was back in 1986. And Norway, their last tournament was in 1998, where they got to the round of 16. Haven't been back since 31st in the world. Alessio, for Iraq, perhaps, a bit of a group of death.
Yeah, very, very tough for them as well. Coming up against Senegal, another very strong AFCON team as well. And then Norway, who have been knocking on the door of making a World Cup. So many young players coming through there recently that deserve a shot on the top stage, and they breezed fairly easily through qualifying as well. France, everyone knows what they can do. I think they're one of the favourites to win the whole thing. So, they're in a very tough group, Iraq. But as you know, World Cups always throw some surprises, and especially if France are rotating against a team like Iraq later in the tournament. I think they can maybe throw something up. I think it was, did they lose to Tunisia in the last game, France, at the last World Cup?
Yes,
Because they
final group game.
rotated. Yeah, very, 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 very big result for Tunisia. I think if Iraq can do the same, then maybe they can get something out of this World Cup.
Group I then. Fourth place, Iraq.
Iraq.
Third place, Senegal.
Senegal.
Norway.
Second place, Norway.
Senegal.
And first place, France.
France.
On to Group J. Argentina, reigning champions. They haven't gotten out of the group since 2002. Algeria, 28th in the world. They haven't qualified since 2014. This is their fourth World Cup appearance. Austria, another coming back for their first since 98. They came third back in the 1954 competition. And Jordan in their World Cup debut, runners-up of the most recent Asian Cup and regular foes to our Socceroos. David, is this another group which is maybe a bit more clear-cut for us to predict?
Maybe, yeah. So this is obviously Argentina flew through their qualifying. I haven't got the table in front of me. Don't think they lost a game.
They finished 9 points clear of Ecuador in second.
Yeah, so it's a little bit like when we talked about Brazil earlier on. There's a pedigree and a history there. There's a DNA in their system that just almost certainly guarantees you that they'll have some kind of success. They'll certainly be out of that group and off and running quite quick. I think Austria. We're not supposed to be doing predictions. It's hard to do this without doing the actual predictions. But so Argentina are going to be doing really well. I think it's fairly clear cut there. I think Austria will be a bit of a surprise package. I think that they'll probably do okay in this group as well. And I think Algeria and Jordan, especially Jordan, probably just making up the numbers a little bit.
Our predictions for Group J then. Fourth place, Jordan for me.
Jordan as well.
Jordan,
I'm afraid. My barber's from Jordan, and I hope he's not listening. So, but Jordan won't. They're not. They're not going to do too well in this, I don't think.
Third place, Algeria.
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 Second place, Austria.
Austria.
Yep, Austria.
And first place for all of us is Argentina. Penultimate group, Group K, consisting of Portugal, fifth place in the world, DR Congo, returning for their second only ever World Cup appearance. That was back in 1974. Uzbekistan with a World Cup debut, 50th in the world. They've been at the Asian Cup, every Asian Cup since 1996 when they actually joined the AFC, and Colombia, a side who missed out the most recent World Cup and of course made those quarterfinals in the 2014 edition of the tournament. Alessio, a fun mix of teams in this group, I feel like.
Yeah, I just recently watched the James Rodriguez documentary as well on Netflix. And yeah, it just goes to show what a difference a couple of years can make. I mean, we're talking just early on about players not being in form and not playing much at club level, but just turn it on at the international level. And I think he's one of the biggest prospects of that. I mean, since that 24, or maybe since the 2018 World Cup at least, he's barely played league football, kept moving every couple of months, not really starting, not really playing. Got a chance under a new coach at Colombia, and got the armband and had an unbelievable Copa America 2024. I think they're back in form. Colombia, they've got some players coming through. Obviously, the previous generation of Falcao's and the like, Yerry Mina, etc. They've moved on. Now they've got players like Luis Diaz. They've got Richard Rios. They've got a very experienced team now, and he's just sitting in the middle of that and is allowed to play with freedom. And I think they're looking really good, especially in qualifying too. Portugal, of course, have Ronaldo, and he's made the squad at 41. I don't think he'll be as relied upon as probably 2 or 3 tournaments ago. I don't think he was relied on much last tournament. But they've got a fantastic side, which is actually composed of players around him that can very much so play. Bruno Fernandes breaking the assist record recently. And I think they've got a lot of players that can play without needing him to produce the magic moment. For the other two, don't know too much of Democratic Republic of Congo. I know they had some players in the past. I think people were calling for, is it Yannick Bolasie to maybe come back and try and play for them, but I think he's far gone in his career to get called up. And the only person I know from Uzbekistan is Kusanov from Manchester City. So if they can produce good defenders, then maybe they can hold out a couple of these big nations, but don't have a lot of faith in them.
Predictions for Group K. Fourth place for me, Uzbekistan.
I went DR Congo on that one.
I went DR Congo as well. And sorry for the cough before. I thought I was on mute. Sorry.
Third place for me, I have the DRC.
DR Congo.
Uzbekistan.
Second place, Colombia.
I've gone Portugal.
First place. First place, Portugal.
Colombia.
On to the final group, Group L, England, of course, 2-time most recent European finalists, but of course didn't win either. Croatia as well, runners-up back in 2018. Ghana, their 5th World Cup appearance and 4-time AFCON winners, and Panama, a side who missed out in 2022, but of course were a part of the 2018 World Cup as well, in a similar group as last time. David, to you for the final group. Your thoughts?
Well, again, this I don't know. Like, I think Panama are another team that are making up the numbers. There's a number of them there, aren't there? With this expanded tournament this time around, we've got 326 nations qualified for this World Cup, divided into 14 groups and so on. So I think Panama are probably just going to be there to make up the numbers. I think the other 3 spots are impossible to, well, not impossible to predict, because that's what you're asking us to do. We can predict it, but I think they'll be impossible to get right. I think England, Croatia, Ghana, any one of them could top that group. Any one of them could finish second, and any one of them obviously could finish third. So a difficult group to predict beyond the Panamanas.
I have a sneaky suspicion of who you've got in third for this group, David. Group L, For me, I have Panama in fourth.
Panama.
Third place, I have Ghana.
Ghana.
I've actually got Ghana there as well.
Wow. Second place in Group L, Croatia for me.
Croatia.
Croatia for me.
And first place, again, all of us agreeing with England to win their group. Next, on to the sides which we think will go through to the knockouts in third place. 8 of these groups, or 8 of these teams out of all these groups will go through. Starting off, Group A, I had Czechia in third place, and I think they will go through as a third place team.
I have nobody from Group A as a third place team.
I'm the same as you, Seb. I have Czechia going through.
I've got Czechia going through as well. I followed a little. Sorry to digress a little bit, but I followed a little bit of a policy of if it's a tough group, only 2 will go through. If there's easier opponents, means more points, wins, and goals. I don't know if that will work or not, but that's my kind of formula.
Group B, I had Bosnia in third, but they are not to go through in my predictions in third.
I had Canada in third, and they are to go through.
I had Bosnia in third and to go through.
And I had Canada third, not to go through.
Group C, I had Scotland in third and to go through to the knockouts.
I had Scotland to get through.
I had Scotland as well and said no.
I've got Scotland third, and will go through.
Group D, I had the USA in third, and I have them to go through.
Same for me.
I have Turkey in third to go through.
I've got Australia third to go through.
Group E, Ecuador in third, I have them to go through.
The same.
I have Cote d'Ivoire in third to go through.
I've got Cote d'Ivoire third and not to go through.
Group F, I had Sweden in third and to go through.
I had Sweden in third, not to go through.
I had Netherlands in third to go through.
I've got Sweden third, not to go through.
Group G, I had New Zealand in third to go through.
I had Iran in third to go through.
I had Iran in third not to go through.
I've got New Zealand in third as well, but not to go through.
Group H, Saudi Arabia in third not to go through.
I had Saudi Arabia to go through.
I had Saudi Arabia in third not to go through.
I've got Saudi Arabia in third, and they will go through.
Not even in the New Zealand group anymore. Group I, Senegal in third to go through.
I have Senegal in third, not to go through.
I have them in third to go through.
I've got Norway in third, not to go through.
Group J, Algeria in third, not going through.
I have Algeria in third to go through.
I'm the same as Alessio, Algeria in third to go through.
I'm the same as Alessio as well. I've got Algeria to finish third and to go through.
Let's see how long you stick with this for. Group K, I had the Democratic Republic of Congo in third and to go through.
I had them in third, not to go through.
I had Uzbekistan in third not to go through.
I've got Uzbekistan in third, and they are going through.
You're losing it a bit. Group L, I had Ghana in third, and they're not going through.
The same.
Ghana in third to go through.
Ghana in third, and they will go through.
All right. Next up,
I hope that
big
all
calls,
adds up.
big
That was
predictions.
8 teams. We'll need to check that.
Correct. No,
yeah.
there definitely was. Or at least for me, it was.
Yeah, for me, it's
Well, do you know where I slipped up? I hadn't actually written down Group L until you said Group K is the penultimate group, and I went, "Oh, that's not in my records. It's not." So I don't know. There might be a discrepancy there, but never mind. We can work
Big
out
call
later.
for the tournament, Alessio, for you.
England to go out in the quarterfinals despite topping their group.
Mark?
Is this my hot take or is this just a big call in general?
Sort of the same thing. So, yeah.
Okay, so for me, the hot take, too many teams and it doesn't get interesting till the knockouts.
David?
That's a really good one, Mark, actually. I've written a little thing here. When I was 12, I watched the 1982 World Cup from Spain on my holidays, and one of my clearest memories of that tournament was Hungary beating El Salvador 10-1, a record scoreline for the tournament that still stands today. Well, this year, because we've got countries like Absurdistan, Lilliput, the Land of Oz, Bulgaria, Trumpton and Gondor, I can see the 9-goal deficit being beaten in one of these 4 games. Brazil versus Haiti, Germany versus Coco, Spain versus Cape Verde, or Argentina versus Jordan. One of those games will end up being a 9-goal difference or greater.
Okay. Mine is that the USA in their first knockout round will be defeated heavily and get embarrassed. Next, the disappointment team, a side who might make it through but disappoint in the groups. Mine is Brazil. I don't think I had them second in the group. I just don't think they'll go much further. Alessio?
Mine is Netherlands. Just don't have any good forwards, and they can't really score.
Mark?
I'm with Alessio. Mine's Netherlands as well. I've got them third to go through, but I just don't see them doing much past that.
David?
Well, put on my fan hat for this one with my gingery hair. I'm going to tell you, my disappointment for this year is going to be Scotland. The optimism's high, but it's the hope that kills you. I think what's going to happen is our in-form strikers aren't getting to run that Shankland and McBurney that we mentioned before. I think in qualifying, Denmark and Greece both scored more goals than Scotland in qualifying. I went through before that our top scorers, or the top scorers for Scotland in qualifying, were midfielders, and Shea Adams got 2 goals. He was the top striker. So I think we're going to have a real trouble up front. None of the goalkeepers are playing regular first-team football as well. So I think Scotland are going to be the disappointment team, for me personally, this summer or winter. And is this the point where I could just mention as well, Seb, and you bring it up, a little image here that the Bank of Scotland has issued a £20 note that features Scott McTominay's overhead kick in qualifying against Denmark. So at least we've got something like that, I suppose, as a memento. If not the memories of the actual event torment us for years to come, at least we'll have that little memory on a £20 note, and you can, just thought I'd mention that.
Dark horse for the tournament. Mine is Norway. I think they're a very strong side, and I think they're a team that could make quarters, if not semis. Alessio?
Mine's also Norway. I think they've been working for this for a while, and they've got a lot of good players all across the park.
That's a great shout. I was considering going that, but I went Morocco. I know they did well last time, but I think they might surprise again and might even go a little bit further. They might even be able to get through that semi-final.
You can't also pick Scotland as a dark horse, David, by the way. That's not how it works.
No. Well, I'm not going to. Just a quick comment on Norway. I would just say that I think they did very well in qualifying. Don't think they lost the game, and they finished above Italy. But they are very reliant, I think, on that big blonde Viking up front. And you've got to get... I'm not sure how that's going to go in the summer. Sorry, Mark.
Didn't every team finish above Italy in that group, or is that just my imagination?
I think that might just be your imagination.
Just quickly, speaking of, we were talking about players, Alessio, earlier, you were talking about James Rodriguez, and it brought to mind another player that you only ever see at the World Cup, and that is Guillermo Ochoa, the Mexican goalkeeper.
Yeah. That was an interesting one I wanted to talk about as well when we talk about Mexico, because I think it's his 6th World Cup.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's his,
and I don't think he was supposed to go, but I think they've had keeper injuries is what I saw the story was.
Yes, but the other thing is he never featured in the first one he was called up to, so technically this is only his 5th World Cup. A lot of people were like, oh, he's on the same level, Ronaldo, the most 6 World Cups in a row, but he never featured in
the first one.
But yeah, I don't think he will play in this one either, but unless maybe the 3rd group game.
I hope he does.
All right, Golden Ball, player of... Oh,
my dark horse.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, not really quickly. Look, I think Austria are a candidate for that. They only lost once in qualifying. They're coached by the German Ralf Rangnick, who was at Manchester United for a very brief period of time as well. And if they're going to be a dark horse, they've got to be a complete outsider. So I think... that sort of, for me, excluded the likes of Norway as well. I wanted to pick a team that was a bit further down the ranks in terms of how highly favoured they are by the bookies or whatever. So Austria and the other one, these South American sides, Ecuador and Colombia, that did so well in qualifying as well. Ecuador finishing second to Argentina, and Colombia finishing third to Argentina in qualifying. Traditionally, European sides don't do very well in the competition when it's held outside of Europe, and especially in the Americas. I think there's only been 2 European winners of the World Cup when it's been played outside of Europe, and that would be Spain in South Africa and maybe Germany in Brazil. I think they might be the only 2 European sides that have won the World Cup outside of Europe. So the European sides don't traditionally do very well. So out of Austria, Ecuador and Colombia, I'll drop Austria because it's outside of Europe, and I'll go for Colombia to be the dark horse this year.
Now on to Golden Ball, player of the tournament, which I imagine we'll sort of get a peek into who he thinks going to do very well at the tournament. I have Harry Kane as the Golden Ball. Alessio.
I have Marc and Alessio, Golden Ball.
Okay.
I've gone. I had to. My heart led these, and it went with Declan Rice.
David.
I'm going for Lamine Yamal, the Spaniard. I think one of the things that works in his favour is he's breaking out. You know, I think the Messis, the Ronaldos, the Mbappes, and so on. I think because they've already established, I think it's probably going to be somebody who's breaking out. Haaland might only be in the tournament for 2 or 3 games. Bellingham isn't anywhere near as good as everybody thinks he is, so I'm going for Lamine Yamal.
And this is what I was talking about earlier, Seb, was when we were talking about how you have the Golden Boy, which is the youngest, the young version of the best and fairest. And it was, for me, there was only 2. And I said to you, there were 2, but it was Lamine Yamal and Karl, the German young lad that plays at Karl at Bayern Munich. So they were my 2 for the Golden Boy.
Golden Glove. I have Jordan Pickford.
I have Diogo Costa of Portugal.
I have, now this one hurts. I have Unai Simon from Spain because I don't think David Raya is going to play yet. Best keeper in the EPL, won the league, but for some reason they will not put him as number 1, and it'll be Unai Simon as their number 1. So I'm going to go with him.
And I'm going for Morocco's goalkeeper, who is known anonymously as Bono.
Good shout. Golden Boot. For me, I've got Harry Kane, so you can see where my predictions are going. Yeah. Alessio?
I have Julian Alvarez of Argentina.
I've gone with Mbappe again.
You know, trouble with Harry Kane is he's not going to have the Bayern Munich midfield supplying him in this tournament. You know, that's. I've gone for Lionel Messi. He scored 8 goals in his 12 games for qualifying, so Lionel Messi.
World Cup winners in 2026. For me, I have it as shock England. Alessio?
I have France over Portugal in the final.
I was toying up between France and this team, and again, my heart has gone with it. I've gone England.
I'm going for no European sides in the final. It's going to be Argentina versus Colombia, and Argentina will win it.
All South American for you, David. How good?
Well, just European sides just don't do well when the tournament's not in Europe.
All right. That is basically our World Cup episode done, unless anybody else has anything else to add.
No, don't think I do.
That's nice and simple. Yeah, hope you enjoyed this chat. Looking forward to the tournament ahead. If you enjoy this episode and you want more stuff to do with the World Cup, do let us know, and we might be able to fit it in. But for now, hope you enjoyed watching and listening to this. Make sure to watch the podcast on the regular as well. Mark?
I did think of something. Our World Cup tipping.
Yes, that as well.
Yeah, we've got one. So jump on board, and you'll find the QR code to join somewhere on our socials, and
it'll be on screen sometime.
It'll be on screen, yeah. And jump on board and basically out tip us, because we kind of aren't very good, but most people should be able to beat us.
Absolutely. Everyone happy? Everyone good?
Yep.
Yep.
Very good. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Looking forward to the World Cup. Scotland to do well, maybe. Australia to do well, maybe. David's disappeared with his background, so you can't even see his flag. That's one. Now I just see you. Yeah. It's like an invisible cloak. He puts it up and he disappears. Well, on that, thank you for watching, listening. We'll see you soon. Watch and listen to the regular podcasts. And enjoy the World Cup.